Last year I had an amazing season for homegrown greens. We grew them in our GreenStalk and we had fresh greens for a very long period of time. We love it so much that this year I'm actually trying to start those seeds a little earlier. I wanted to go ahead and start to see if I can have an even better year for greens this year, extending our harvesting seasons for a little longer. I transplanted those seedlings to that GreenStalk in about late March last year, I believe. This year I want to try to plant them out a little bit sooner in the GreenStalk there, and I want them to be a bit bigger. I got a frost cover so I can keep them a little bit more protected in case we have a significant drop in temperature. So if you don't have anything to protect your greens and you're gardening here in the same zone as me, you might want to wait a little bit more. But I wanted to go ahead and posted a video with my garden plan this week, and over there I mentioned that I was not going to get any new lettuce seeds. I was just gonna go ahead and use the ones that I have and make a mix of my own lettuce, because let me show you something. Look how many free seeds of lettuce I have from Baker Creeks. There are so many packages in here. I thought it was really silly for me to order anything new, and I have had success with some of these past varieties. I've grew probably all of them and they all are pretty good. I have 2 things of Merlot lettuce here. I just need one. And I want to clarify something. When I meant mixing, I'm not going to make a package mix. I'm just going to plant them individually so I know the colors, and then I'm gonna mix them up while I'm planting them on the GreenStalk so they look nice and beautiful like the GreenStalk looked last year. So I'm gonna go over the varieties here real quick just in case you're curious. So I'm doing the Merlot lettuce. I grew this last year. It did really good in the garden. It was very tasty. It looked very pretty, so I'm doing it again. Then I have this Japanese mustard. I also grew these probably for a couple of years in the garden now. It's a little bit spicy, but I like to mix that into my salad greens, so I'm growing that again, and also to add color. I love the color of this. I have this butter lettuce. I have this other one here that it didn't really get very big. I thought it was more like a romaine, but I'm going to try to grow again and see how it goes. And there's some Mizuna. This is actually very tasty. And also this Lenox lettuce and this Swiss chard that I'm just growing as baby greens to mix with my salad. I'm also growing arugula because I really like the taste of it. And my favorite, Purple Lady Bok Choy. This one was stunning on the GreenStalk last year. I love the way it made it look. We grew again in the fall. It was very good too. It grows well here, so I'm growing it again. Still have tons of seeds from the same package. And I'm also growing this kale mix over here. Before I start, I just want to show you that I have everything already pre-made over here. I have my labels in there. And for the potting soil, I use this guy over here, Joni's. It's the same one I used last year. I had great success with my vegetables with them, so I'm using the same. I'm using my bigger ones this time because since I'm starting them so early, my goal is to keep them a little longer on these out packs and get them to be bigger by the time that I transplant them out. And I hope that by doing that I can start harvesting a little sooner than I did last year. On my past video I also said that I was going to throw the Shijimi side there, Shijimi side, this one here, sorry, there together with the lettuce. I'll try to plant them densely, like a lot in one pocket, to see if I can make it a little bit longer and look a bit more like this in the picture to use as a spinach or greens. So we're gonna try that. So this should give me a pretty good variety for the GreenStalk this year. I don't really grow lettuce on my raised beds because I have lots of slugs and those little pew bugs, I think they're called, and they just eat them up early in the season. And also we have tons of squirrels in here and they tend to dig the raised beds and then throw dirt everywhere, so everything gets really dirty. I like to start by making my labels first. I'm using these plastic ones today. I prefer to use the wood ones. I don't have so much plastic, but I only have one left on this little pack here. And then when I was organizing my seedling room yesterday, I found a whole brand new pack of this that I probably got from last year, so I'm gonna use it up before I order new ones. But I do prefer to use wood when I can, when I'm labeling. I also like to use this garden marker, and I found both of mine. I have 2 of them, and now that I organize everything downstairs, I have both of them up here at my seed starting area. And I'm gonna start with this Merlot lettuce. The Swiss chard I'm also going to sow densely, like I'm going to do with the Shijimi sai, because I want to harvest them for baby leaves as well. Just going to put them together with the labels because I'm starting to get all over the place here. I am using tons of labor, so I'm just gonna do these 2 together. I'll do 3 and 3 in here. And then the Purple Lady Bok Choy, I'm gonna do 6 because I really like it. So it's gonna get whole 6 packs. The Merlot lettuce, And the Lunix lettuce, they're both red. I'm going to put them together, but just 3 of each. But then I'll do the Mizuna in here together with the arugula, then soy chard, and shijimisai. Oh my gosh, I have more. I don't have enough. I should have counted. I just assumed I was gonna have space for everything. All right, so then I'm gonna do the kale mix in here. I wanted to do a whole of kale mix, but maybe just do more seeds in each. And I'm gonna do the Japanese mustard. This potting soil is actually not pre-moistened. I don't know if I mentioned that or not. I like to just put them as is first and then bottom water the tray, then mist the top a little bit later. And the reason that I do that is because I don't like to keep opening the packs with my hands, dirty hands. You know, when the potting soil is moist, I find that I keep touching the soil when I put in the seeds, and then I get all the packs all dirty. Some of them are pretty dirty here because it's older. But I used this method last year and it was fine. It worked out well. Usually you're supposed to pre-moisten the potting soil before you add them to the trays. But that's how I like to do it. It has been working for me. I do press the soil a little bit just to make sure there's not too many air pockets. And then that's it. I'll put the seeds in here, cover them up a little bit, and then do the watering at the end. Starting with the mustard. They are in the brassica family. So they have the usual round seed. Actually, all brassicas came from mustard. Mustard was the original, brassica seed. Sorry about that, I saved most of them. But that's how they look like. They're just nice and round. That's the same as broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage. They all look like this. I'm just going to lay them in the soil. If more than one sprout's fine. I have tons of those seeds. They're free and they came with an abundance of it, so just put it right on top and I'll cover everything later, because sometimes I tend to forget if I already put something in there or not. Next is the kale mix. Kale also is in the brassica family, so the seeds look exactly like the mustard. And this is a mix, so we'll have different varieties in here. So I'm just kind of going to sprinkle actually, and then tin. That's enough. We don't need more than that. Trim them out and maybe plant in another few other places. Those seed packs are a little older, so they might not have a super great germination rate. The shijimisai I do want to sow a little bit densely because I want to put lots of seeds per pocket on that one. So same with the sweet chard. They're not in the brassica family, so their seeds look a little bit different. They look more like beets. They're probably the same family too because they taste just like beets. I'm gonna put the sweet chard in here too, maybe 3. Those are huge, much bigger seeds. 3 per pocket because that's what I found in my hand, and that's good enough. Hopefully get a nice colorful selection. Then I got Merlot lettuce. Next, lettuce seeds are small too, but a little bit different than the brassica seeds. That's how they look like. And I'm probably putting a lot more than I need in here, because I can always separate those seedlings and use in the different part of the garden, or I can just give them away, or maybe I'll do a spring seedling sale too. But let's see, I'm gonna put as many as far in here because I have 2 free packages of those. And then the Lunix lettuce, this is very pretty. I grew last year too. The leaves get very tall and long. I'm not gonna use as much. Those are black seeds instead of white, but they're the same shape as the other ones. This one, I want to put a couple seeds on it, maybe 3. That's it. And then that goes pretty quickly after you have everything set up. Then we're going to do the Mizuna. This one here, just a Japanese green, is really good too. Also in the brassica family, so the seeds are also nice and brown with these little balls. So I'm gonna, one fell into the kale mix. I'll be able to tell when they germinate because they're pretty unique seedlings. Okay, that's it for those 2. Arugula, love growing this. They're super easy to grow. The seeds are, I believe, arugula is a brassica too. I'm not sure. I have to double check this, but this is how they look like. Also sort of surface sowing this. Then the butter lettuce. Not gonna have so much green in this. It's gonna be very colorful, but it's okay. This one, actually I'm doing this one first. They're both labeled butter lettuce, but it's a green lettuce. I'm gonna just throw a few seeds in here for this guy. This one I definitely don't want it to become a full head because they're too big for the GreenStalk. I just want to harvest the baby leaves. And then butter lettuce. There's lots of seeds in this pack, and it was free. This tastes good too. I grew last year. They were nice. This one I might want to grow to more like a head because they stay small and they look nice. So a few seeds in here, in each. And the last but not least, the purple lady bok choy. Actually the one I'm most excited for. I love growing lettuce, but I also like to grow a few things that I can cook, because if I have a lot of greens at that week, you know, I can get some bok choy and cook them up if I don't feel like eating so many things raw. They do last for a really long time in the fridge after you harvest because they're fresh, but I just like sometimes to have something cooked for dinner and use some more of the raw things for lunch. But that's it. Now I'm going to water this in the bottom, to bottom water those. Let me actually move these seeds out of the way so I don't get them wet by accident. I just take one of the cells out and then fill up with water. I'm reusing the cell from the sweet peas that I had. I'll show that to you guys in another video, but they're pretty big and they're outside already hardening off. So I just like to fill it up. I usually just use whatever it's in this pot, my little kettle that I give a second purpose here. Also filling this up. And then I'm gonna put this in and just cover this lightly. These seeds are all very small, so they don't need to be buried super deep. They usually say on the seed pack how deep you should bury them, but I guess the usual rule of thumb is that you bury them twice the amount of their size. I don't really like that because some of them need light to germinate, so I like to be more attentive. All of those have grown before. I think they're just okay with a very light coating of soil, but they would say here in the back if you need to, how deep you need to bury them. Most lettuce is kind of just like surface soil. You don't need to bury them too much. And those are pretty easy to grow. I've grown them a few times. Press them, make sure they have good contact with the soil. After everything is covered and lightly pressed, then I'm going to mist. I guess it's not really a mister, it's a spray bottle. My seeds are here, gotta be careful, don't want to get them wet, but just kind of get the surface a little bit moist. This soil will absorb. I don't think I pressed this, see, I do forget. Alright, going back to what I was talking about. The soil does absorb the water and will make everything moist, but I like to sort of spray the top a little bit more, just to make sure it's nice and wet to aid germination. The reason why I don't pour water in here is because sometimes that will make the seed run off to the sides, and it happened to me many times in the beginning, so I decided to never really pour any water over the seeds. But this little misting method has been working fine for us so far. Now I'm going to put this downstairs. I have my humidity domes there, and I'm gonna give you a sneak peek on how my grow room is looking. I have this little basement here in our first floor apartment, and the only space that I have for my growing rack here is under the stairs, but you do what you can when you have a small apartment. And this is how the grow rack is looking right now. Those are all flowers. I have started a bunch. I'll talk more about them in another video. I'm going to keep this, hopefully you guys can see me, up here for now until they germinate. I have the humidity domes here, and I put them on the seedlings to help with the germination, to keep them nice and moist and warm, but it will look like this with time. Let me show you. After it stays here for a little bit, it will the water start condensating and give some nice humidity for the seedlings. I know there are lots of seedlings in here, and you guys probably gonna get mad at me because I didn't show starting all of them, but it's because most of them are our experiments. As I mentioned in my garden plan, I'm trying to grow my wedding flowers, and some of these things here are things that are not gonna last there, of course, because our ceremony is in July, but these are just tests for me, so I can sort of learn how to grow some of these things and see how the seedlings look like and etc. There are also things here that I'm planning to grow in the spring, of course. I'll make a separate video explaining everything, but this is where my lettuce is going to live until they are ready to go outside. I do need to clean out some space here. Some of these things can go outside because they're very cold tolerant. I reduced the amount of shelves that I had in here from last year. I had one extra one, but now I am sort of debating if I should put it up or not again. But it's looking pretty full here right now already. But anyway, just wanted to show you where they're going to live from now on. I will post an update about all these flowers, I promise. Some of them are the ones that I started in January, showing you guys the first seeds that I sowed last year. I did start a few other things after that, but I will make a separate video explain you guys why, and a lot of them actually should be out of here pretty soon because I have some setup for them outside in the garden already. I came up here again to finish this video because the light's a little bit hard down there, but just want to thank you guys for watching today. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comment section down below. I'm going to link a couple videos up here on the side where I started some of those seeds that you see down there, some of the flower seeds, and the other one is about the plants for this year garden, my whole girl list, vegetable girl list. Thank you again, and I will see you next time.